postcard because there was a lot to say. Dear Brian, hello from 2021. How quickly do 10 years fly by? It's a heartbeat. Mind you, it's also an eternity and a lot's happened in that time. So I just wanted to write you a quick note to let you know that things are looking pretty damn good here. 2021, it's easier. Things are simpler. Funding is simpler. Finding ways to make and show work is simpler. Dealing with governments is simpler. Even dealing with producers and presenters and venues is simpler. I'm not sure how we did it, but somewhere along the line, we just collectively stopped, looked at each other, took a deep breath, and decided to just cut through the bullshit. We decided that the whole insurance debacle had gone too far and that public liability cover wasn't actually such a big deal. Very few audience members or performers were actually dying at shows. Even at the ramshackle events in dim subterranean venues that had totally non-existent evacuation policies. Not even when we lit fires or sprayed water or threw raw meat. And no one sued. Thankfully, the word innovation lost its kick and was removed from all funding applications. As was any reference to audience development strategies as a guiding factor behind the work that artists do. We also cleverly stage-managed the reclamation of the idea of creativity from within that unbelievably misbalanced term, creative industries. That whole category proved to be one huge schmozzle. Everyone seemed to finally twig to the notion that there needed to be an equality of art and artists alongside the mechanisms and systems of production, promotion and marketing and management. We finally got our heads around the fact that without the creative aspect, there was nothing to industrialise. No reason to have producers, promoters or managers. Well, duh. Things are easier, but thankfully not too easy. We both know that adversity can be a very positive driving force. Thankfully, politicians still stuff up, dumb and perhaps evil things still happen, and as a given, the human race keeps making small and large missteps. There's still plenty to rail against and to learn from, and there are still some ridiculous and dangerous restrictions to struggle against, obstacles and barriers to overcome, things to criticise and improve, things that provoke me into action. No, adversity is good, but at least in 2021, it isn't so overwhelming as to prevent me from making and presenting work. Instead, I have an increased sense of safety and freedom as both an artist and a citizen. And we both know that these are vital ingredients in the maintenance and development of a vibrant and culturally rich society. But things are simpler. I seem to have more time and space for reflection. I have the space and time to ensure that I maintain a broad overview of my form, my sector, and the society that I live in. I have the space and time to balance this broad knowledge with a keen sense of specificity within my individual practice. We seem to have struck the balance between ecology and particularity. In some ways, 2021 is calmer, quieter. Luckily though, it's also got noisier. More voices are being heard, more artists are finding ways to get their work out there, more opinions and perspectives are being expressed. Things have sped up in some ways and become more complex, and I'm eternally grateful for this because it's a complexity of ideas, creative strategies and technologies. It keeps life interesting and is constantly challenging for a grumpy old man like me. Keeps me on my toes. The complexity is invigorating, especially in relation to the new technologies that have become available and in some cases commonplace. Thankfully, this complexity is balanced by an understanding of the need to be holistic, and this ensures a very pure focus on artistic simplicity, on the raw and rare magic of the human body, its presence and capabilities and what it can evoke. We have complex technologies, but we aren't bound by them. We have complex ideologies and intellectualizations, but we trust in the essential simplicity of the human experience. Humanity seems to have prevailed. And within this quiet clatter, I see that in 2021, I've been able to hold on to a strong sense of heritage and pathway, but this sense of where I have come from doesn't interfere with or unnecessarily distort my future trajectory. It doesn't distract from my potential futures and possible pathways. The past and the future are thankfully understood through the lens of the electric now. So generally things are quite good. And I am 10 years older, an old man who knows everything. And a spring chicken who knows absolutely nothing. I hope this finds you well, and I look forward to you getting here. Brian.